I'm Kassara. Some of you know me as Cassie or Cass, but for business purposes, I usually use my full name Kassara because it sounds fancier. So it's a little bit different for me to be up here on the stage. I'm a lot more used to being behind the scenes. I usually prefer that to being up here, but I just couldn't resist the opportunity to come up here and share this project with you because it's something that's really special to me. A few things about me. I've got a degree in multimedia design and communications. I'm a senior graphic designer freelancing since 2013, and I specialize in print design. That's right, print isn't dead, I swear. And I also do some digital and web design, just a little bit of everything. These days, I spend most of my time designing packaging and displays for alcohol brands and sports partnerships. So that might sound glamorous, but what most of it is basically, here's the global brand guidelines and some very strict legal rules to follow. So it's not exactly the height of creativity. And if you came here to hear about the exciting world about display guidelines, I'm sorry to disappoint. What I am going to share with you is something very different, something that reignited my creativity when I thought I had none left, and what continues to inspire me. In what feels like another lifetime, I was also a mom. My son Paxton was born in 2012, and before he turned a year old, he started having some health concerns, so I went freelance in order to have the flexibility to care for him. Eventually, he was diagnosed with a rare disease called GM1 gangliosidosis. You've probably never heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until the day he was diagnosed. So it's a rare terminal disease with no treatment or cure. It was devastating, and honestly, it just changed everything. During this time, I found the NTSAD, that's the National Tay-Sachs and Allied Diseases Association. They actually support people from all countries, so they've considered calling it international, but then the acronym would be NTSAD, which it definitely is sad, but not exactly what they were going for. So this community of other rare disease parents became my lifeline. And me and my family, we did everything we could to give Paxton the best life, full of happiness and memories that he could, but eventually the inevitable happened, and he died in May of 2015. That's when the world went dark. The first year afterwards was just a total blur. I kept working because it was a distraction and something that I could do by myself while grieving, but it became boring and uninspiring. The light had just gone out, and I was creatively drained. I eventually ended up switching careers for a while. During this time, I was able to attend an NTSAD conference in person and finally meet the people who had supported me online, those who actually got it. I continue to go every year, receiving and giving support to others, and it's made a huge difference in my life. Eventually, they asked me to design the conference logo, and suddenly I felt a spark of creativity that I hadn't felt for a long time. It was a dream project, something that I cared about, a supplied theme but no strict brand guidelines, and plenty of lead time. Not the norm in your typically fast-paced design world, that's for sure. The theme I was given was When Hope Takes Flight for the conference held in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I designed it, I got a great response, and it made me feel really good to know that people would be going home wearing their conference t-shirts, and they'd be going to different countries and spreading awareness just by wearing the shirts. That was the kickstart that I needed and was part of what led to my decision to return to the world of professional design. So I've designed the conference logo every year since. I'll share a few of them with you. We had Welcome Back Together Again. That was the first conference after COVID. They did have a couple of online conferences and a canceled conference that had a logo, but I'm not going to share all of them with you today. And then Soaring on the Winds of Hope, that was for Chicago in 2024. I think that one's my personal favorite out of all of them that I've done so far. And then this year was Deep in the Heart of NTSAD in Dallas. So as I continued making the logos, I knew that I wanted to keep keep them cohesive, so I set a few guidelines for myself. I always put them within the same circular frame. I put the conference name in some type of banner, And then my favorite part is hiding the NTSAD logo somewhere within the larger logo. So you can see the logo there behind me. It's actually pretty cool. It's a bunch of people holding hands together. And then I ended up using the same shape of people to put the people on the logo for back together again. And then there's also some technical aspects that have to be considered for these logos. They're mainly used for t-shirts, but they need to be scaled anywhere from like a pen to a banner. So for the Chicago logo, I wanted to include the bean and some other little details along the skyline there, but it just didn't work out because it wasn't scalable to a small size, so that had to be changed. And they all have to work as a single color. Some of these also have full color versions that were used digitally, but for the nonprofit budget, they typically print the shirts in a single color, so it just does have to be considered when making a complex logo that it still needs to work. And the organization did go through a rebrand partway through this, so that's why the font ended up changing on the logos. Oops. Oh, there's a slide missing. Oh, sorry. So next year's logo is a new challenge. It's the first repeat location needing a new logo for the same place. So this was also the first year I was asked to ideate on the theme. So I did some research into the area, and I got inspiration from my conference photos from when I had been there previously. So the conference is held in Reston Town Center, and there's this fountain called the Mercury Fountain, and it's held in the spring, so that's a season for the cherry blossoms, which are also like really prominent in the DC area. And I did some research into the meaning of cherry blossoms, and that just turned out to be really significant, as they symbolize the beauty and fragility of life due to their short bloom and the importance of cherishing every moment. And they also embody the contrast between life's vibrancy and eventual death. And in historical Japan, they symbolize the samurai's warrior acceptance of a short, beautiful life and readiness to die at any moment. So Paxton and the other rare disease children definitely embody the warrior spirit. And so here's the previous logo for the Reston Conference in 2023. That was Monumental Future. And then here's the logo for the upcoming conference, Rare Voices in Bloom for 2026. So I drew out the fountain, and then we have the cherry blossoms. And you can see the little NTSAD logo is hidden in both of those as well. And here's what else that I learned. I didn't need to be a fundraiser or a scientist. I just needed to bring my skill of design into a project that I cared about in order to make a difference in a community that matters to me. All of us will face some kind of grief or creative burnout at some point, but if you can find a project or a cause that excites you to do what you already do best, your creativity will thrive. So now, instead of just designing alcohol marketing, I also get to design hope. A creative high without a hangover. So my challenge to you is, what is your version of that? What skill do you have that could light up when applied to something that matters to you? Here's my quick checklist for choosing a passion project. Make your own. And when you find it, whether it's design, organizing, baking, or something else, it doesn't just change your outlook, it changes you. My greatest joy of all is being able to share Paxton with the world and keeping his memory alive. So I hope you've found some inspiration in our story. To learn more about the NTSAD or GM1 gangliosidosis, visit ntsad.org. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have and chat about anything afterwards. Thank you.